Hey guys. Come here. So I get questions almost in every single video about these beautiful ladies. This is Lucy, the one in the back is Michelle, and this is Lavitra. These beautiful egg-laying hens are not mine. In fact, this is my neighbor slash landlord's backyard, and these are her chickens. They roam around this big backyard all day and have a pretty fun time. Let me show you where they sleep. Hi, babies. This is their coop where my landlord puts them to sleep every night. They sleep in there. That's also where they lay their eggs. And she puts them in there because there's raccoons and coyotes around here that can actually eat chickens, and these are her pets. A very common question that I get from a lot of my viewers are about the ethics of keeping backyard chickens like these ones. Like, why is it wrong to have these chickens and to eat their eggs? I would say that these ladies get treated like any, good household dog that gets treated very well. They have this big backyard to roam. They get fed. They're healthy. They let you pet them. They're clearly not in too much distress. Why not eat their eggs as a vegan? And there's a few reasons. Sure, there's the nutritional component that I know just through research and science that the nutrients in an egg, the animal-based protein, the cholesterol, the saturated fat, are not things that are good for the human body, which is why I don't eat them. That's a no-brainer. But if you want to get into more the sustainability side and predominantly the ethical side, which is what I'm going to talk about right now, there are a lot of reasons why it's not right to have backyard chickens as a vegan. So the most important question to ask is, where did these chickens come from? And I actually don't know the answer, but I can speculate and talk about some ways in which people get backyard chickens. The first way, and actually probably the most common, is most people get their backyard chickens when they're chicks and they buy them on the internet. There are companies that will ship you, yes, live baby female chicks in the mail. They usually drug them out with some pills so they don't freak out when they're being shipped in a box thousands of miles, and they show up on your doorstep. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty disturbing and sad to me. And then you have to ask, well, who is breeding those chickens? And there are companies that do this exactly, breed egg-laying hens for the purpose of, backyard, small-scale home chickens. And only female hens, female chickens, lay eggs. The males obviously do not. So you have to ask the question, what happens when, 50% of the offspring that hens will have end up to be males? Do they go as pets to happy families who, treat them like pets or their dogs? No, of course not. People value hens because they produce eggs because people like to eat them. So this is the same in the backyard, hen laying industry, and also in the big scale industrial factory farm egg industry. When male chicks are born, they sex them at age, they tell if they're male or female, and usually the males are ground alive at birth. It's hard for me to even say it because it sounds just so wrong and that would never happen, but you can go watch the videos. There are people out there whose job is to tell if a chick is a male or a female, and they throw them into a pile, and they're usually ground alive, fed to other chickens or fed to other animals in the animal agriculture industry. So that right there is the first most obvious reason why it's clearly not ethical to breed animals in general, but specifically chickens, because the males are not deemed useful in that industry. So instead of going to families who raise them as pets, they are killed at birth. That is clearly unethical. And the next point I'm going to make is, are eggs useful to a female chicken? And the answer is, most of the time, yes. Now, these eggs are clearly not fertilized. There's no roosters or male chickens running around, so these eggs are not going to produce baby hens. But research shows that female chickens, once they hang out with their egg for a few days and see that it's not fertilized and it's not going to produce another chicken, they actually usually cannibalize that egg and eat it themselves because it has a lot of, vitamins and minerals and things that the chicken lost when it produced it that they can then eat and gain back to nourish their body. Chickens produce more eggs when there's not as many eggs around, meaning if you have backyard chickens and you're taking their eggs daily or every other day, they're going to have an instinct that they need to produce more. In a way, you are altering the reproductive system of these hens by taking their eggs every single day. If you would leave the eggs with them, they may crack them open and eat them, or some people who adopt hens from farm sanctuaries who have no intention of eating their eggs will actually crack them come for the chicken, and the chicken usually eats them. So the way that this breaks down is that eggs are actually useful to chickens, whether it is for actually having offspring and creating another chicken, or to re-nourish their body to keep them healthy. Veganism is about not exploiting animals or their reproductive systems for our own greedy benefit that we don't need, and honoring an animal to live in its most natural setting, free to make the choices it wants. Having backyard hens is clearly a violation of that. I'm not saying it's as bad as, supporting factory farms and things like that, because it's not. Out of all of the ways to eat animal products, this is probably the most ethical one, or let me rephrase that. It's the least worst. I don't want to say it's a positive thing, because I don't think it is ethical, because you are using an animal, you're using their reproductive system for your own benefit without their consent. Now, do these chickens live a miserable life, and are they in pain every day? No, I really don't think so. They show that they have a pretty good quality of life, and they let me pet them and all of that. But as someone who is trying to promote the vegan revolution and really change the way that we view our relationship with animals, I think having backyard chickens and eating their eggs is not in alignment with trying to further this movement. Now, I intend in my life to adopt chickens, to rescue them from farm sanctuaries. That's one of my passions. But there's a difference between providing a good quality of life to an animal that has already been exploited in the past and not eating their eggs, not taking any resources from them, compared to buying hens, supporting this industry that exploits tons of female and kills male chicks, while also taking the reproductive byproduct of another animal. So thanks so much for listening to this argument. Hope you enjoyed it and got some thought-provoking ideas from what I had to say. I'm going to put a link to a podcast that I recorded in the description box where we talk about this topic. And thumbs up for vegans not eating chicken periods.